Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Real Talk. Today, we're going to be talking about something that I don't know if you've ever really thought about before. We're going to be talking about the word legacy. What does it mean to leave a legacy behind? We're going to be talking about when you have your final day on this planet, which we all will at some point. What will they say about you? Will they remember you and remember you as a person that made an impact, made an influence for the better? Or will they remember you as the person that was doing all kinds of things that in hindsight you would probably regret? I don't know what your story looks like, but today I want to share with you the story of someone who I didn't get very much time with, but their legacy lives on. I heard the stories. For those of you that aren't aware, just a few weeks ago now, Sarah, my beautiful wife, her grandma actually passed away. It was sudden, it was unfortunate, it was not expected, but she passed away. And we got the phone call. I remember Big Bear, one of our moderators, was actually at our house that morning. He was hanging out with us and we thought it was going to be an awesome day. We were about to go to church, do all kinds of things. And then the phone call came through and it just changed everything. It just changed everything. We sat there, our hearts were broken. We were just like, we've lost this person that we love. But in that moment, we were just like, you know what? Like, God is in this. And we knew that she was a Christian and loved the Lord. So we knew that although there was pain and there was hurt there, we also knew that we could celebrate her life. But I did not expect what was going to happen when we went to that funeral. As you guys know, I didn't stream for about a week or so because we had to book emergency flights. We headed over to the other side of the map. We literally flew across the world, and went there for this funeral. But what I experienced there, what I heard at this funeral, they weren't stories of oh man, like that's really sad and that's it. I mean, there was obviously sadness. Lots of tears were shed, but I remember meeting someone, a group of guys. It was just after the funeral and the burial and all of that had happened. And this group of guys came up and they were just like, hey, we just want to meet you guys, the family. And again, this is Sarah's grandma. So I didn't get very many opportunities to meet her. Didn't get to spend very much time with her. And so I didn't know her super well, but they did. Because what I came to find out was their story and how grandma made an impact in their life. These are young guys, probably pretty similar to my age. And they went on to say that when they were in school, just school students, they would walk past grandma's house. They would walk past every time. And in that process, they would see this tree. It was a tree that had fruits on it that looked very delicious. So they decided, we're going to steal that. So they would break in and they would steal these fruits from this tree. And this is what they would do. And then one day, grandma caught them. But instead of saying, what are you doing? Get lost, get out of here, and chasing them and calling the cops or whatever, grandma's just like, why are you stealing this? If you want it that badly, just ask, we'll give it to you. They were like, wait, what? What do you mean? We're robbing you. What do you mean you'll give it to us? But grandma and grandpa were like, yeah, no, we'll do that. So these boys did. They would then go after school and say, can we get one of those? Absolutely. There it is. Eventually what ended up happening is they ended up starting a Bible study at their house where these boys would come over after school. Where they would normally break in, instead they would sit there and read the Bible together and learn, because grandma would sit on the balcony reading her Bible and they would see. And eventually they asked her, what are you reading? And she was like, it's a Bible. And they were like, what's a Bible? Basically, fast forward 20 plus years later, 30 plus years later, I don't know exactly, but these, what were young kids, all of a sudden are fully grown adults with families of their own that have moved to all over the place. And they gather to this one moment where this funeral for this beautiful old lady is taking place because of the impact that she made on their life. Because when no one would treat them with love and respect, where normally people would just say, you know what, you're stealing stuff, you are dead to me. Grandma and grandpa didn't. They said, actually, we're going to love you, we're going to care for you, we're going to, you know, teach you about God and God's love. And these guys ended up going ahead and becoming Christians, and it just completely changed their lives. And the look on their face was like standing there. I still remember I'm standing there right after the burial, right? And I'm standing there, and the look on their face, it wasn't one of sadness, it was one of gratitude. Like, they were looking at us, they were looking at me as if I had something to do with their faith journey. I'm like, I don't know you, I've never met you. If I walked past you at the shops, I wouldn't even know who you are. But in that moment, for them, they were looking at us going like, you are a part of grandma's legacy. You are a part of this. You are related to the woman that made such a huge impact in our lives that it changed our entire lives. And it really made me think, for you and for me, what story is our life telling? What is the impact that we leave behind? What is it that you, in your world, when your story reaches its end, when your book is closed, when that is the end, when you're no longer there, and the people at your funeral are around talking afterwards, are they going to be sharing stories about gratitude and about warmth and about those times when you made an impact in their world, where you made an impact in their heart? Will there be stories to tell? Are you doing that? Are you living that life? Are you loving people the way that God calls us to? Are you caring for people the way that God calls us to? Are you doing these things? And it just made me think, you know what, today, this is what we need to talk about. Because life is short and life is fragile, and I don't know when my last day is. It could be tomorrow for all I know. And you don't know when yours is either. And in the same way that we might have just lost grandma from this earth right now, I know that there are people in the chat that have recently lost loved ones and family members and friends and people that are going through illnesses, people that are literally on death row at the moment. Like there's all kinds of things there, which just is a reminder of how fragile and how difficult life can sometimes be. But to think, what is the impact that you're having in your world? You know, I just want to pull up really quickly this right here, Galatians chapter 6 verse 9. This comes from this beautiful book that I love. It's called a Bible. If you don't have one, let me know. I will give you one completely free of charge. I don't care where you are in the world. I will send it to you, free postage, no matter where you are in the world. Literally just let me know. If you want a Bible, it's yours. But you know, this comes from that, and it says this. It says, let us not become weary in doing good. Let us not become tired, is what that's saying. Don't become tired of doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. You know, it would have been real easy for grandma and for grandpa to just decide these guys aren't worth it. It would have been so easy for them to do that, but they didn't. They didn't get tired of doing good. They pushed through and continued to push through. And you know, the thing about that verse, with that we will reap a harvest at a proper time if we do not give up. I want to tell you right now, you might never see that harvest in your life, but it is being reaped. Lives are being changed when we make an impact, when we share God's love with people, when we do that. Sometimes we don't get the opportunity to water that seed, but we've planted it, and someone else is going to step in and help with that piece. We don't know. There are people in my life that have impacted me to the core that will never, ever know how much of an impact they've made on my life, because they're not a part of my world anymore. I don't know their numbers. I don't know how to find them, but I do remember the way that they made me feel. I do remember how loved they made me feel. I do remember what it was that was going on in my world when our paths crossed. And although they might think I planted seeds and I did this, but I never reaped a harvest, I never saw anything come from that, nothing good came of it, I never impacted anyone, they have no idea that today I'm here on twitch.tv/PastorSKAR telling people every single week about how loved and valuable they are, partly because of the impact that they made on my life. It's a chain reaction, and that starts with you. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whether we've ever met before or not, if you can hear the sound of my voice, I want you to know that you can have an impact, you can have an influence, that you matter, you are loved, and you are valuable. And whatever it is that's going on in your world right now, don't doubt yourself, don't doubt your impact, don't doubt what it is that God can do through you. If you put him first, and if you let that guide your decisions and your steps, I'm telling you right now, don't get weary in doing good. Don't get tired of doing good, but instead continue, press on, be faithful, do not give up, because you just never know what the impact of that is going to be. You never know what the legacy that you will leave behind will be, whether you see it or not, whether they're at your funeral or not. Nonetheless, this never goes out empty. And with that being said, my friends, I'm going to pray for you guys right now, and then we're going to be kicking off our next Fortnite fashion show. As you can see over in the corner, we are ready to go. The codes are about to be sent out and all that good stuff. But before that, let me just pray for you, yeah? I would just love to do that. And once I'm done, then of course, feel free to drop one of these amen emotes in the chat. But let's do this thing. Father God, I just pray right now for every single member of this family, for every single member of the SKAR fam. God, I don't know what their story is. I don't know how close any of us are from our final day. For some of us, it could be today, or it could be in 80 years, 90 years, whatever, God. I don't know. But I just pray that with every day we have, we never take it for granted, but instead we use that day. We use that opportunity to make an impact, to change a life, to reach out and to share with people about how much you love them, and let people know how accepted and valuable that they really truly are. God, I thank you that we can even be doing this right now. I thank you that we've got this amazing network, this amazing community to just invest in each other's lives, God. And I just pray that the best is yet to come, and you just go before us every single day as we continue this stream and as we continue reaching people and letting them know about how loved they are, God. Thank you so much. Thank you for the SKAR fam. Thank you for every single person that's here, Lord. And I just pray that you just go before them and speak to them in a powerful way. In your son's precious and holy name, I pray. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, if you prayed along with me, drop an amen in the chat. And if that is you, and if today you just felt like that's what you needed to hear, then please get in our Discord server. I can see it's being pulled up in the chat right now. Thank you to our moderators, but get in our Discord server, because that's how we can continue to hang out. That's how we can pray for you. That's how we can support you. That's how we can care for you. This episode of Real Talk will be posted in there later, as well as on YouTube and all that good stuff. But in the meantime, I think it's time for us to get on with this gameplay. God bless you guys. I love you. And let's do this thing.